There is a door inside you. You pass it every day without looking. Sometimes you hear something behind it, a breath, a knock, sometimes a scream. You were taught not to open it. You were told light is good and darkness is dangerous. But what if that was the lie? Carl Gustav Jung, Swiss psychoanalyst, myth weaver of the modern mind, called this hidden realm the shadow. And he did not speak of it lightly. The shadow is not your enemy. It is your double, the ancient twin exiled from your story. Think of it this way: the day you learned to smile for praise, a darker self was born behind your ribs. It's not evil, no, it's hungry. Hungry for the parts of you that were abandoned, the anger you weren't allowed to express, the desire you were told to deny, the brilliance you were afraid to unleash. These pieces were cast off like bones in a ritual. But bones remember. And deep below your waking mind they began to walk again. Half forgotten, half feral. Every society gives you a mask, a name, a role, a set of rules. You put it on, and soon forget it isn't your face. But the shadow? It keeps the record. Every time you lie to be loved, every time you silence your truth to belong, the shadow takes note. Not to punish you, but to preserve you. Because underneath your habits, your laughter, your achievements, there is something raw, unfinished, and real. And like a mirror covered in dust, it waits. You want to know where the shadow lives? Watch what enrages you. Watch who you condemn. Watch where you stumble, again and again. You'll find it in the lover who reflects your need for control, in the friend who mirrors your suppressed ambition, in the stranger you label a monster. This is projection, and it is not random, it is surgical. The shadow bleeds through the cracks of your persona like ink in water, until one day it spills. An outburst, a breakdown, a strange dream you cannot shake, a mirror shattering at last. There was once a man who dreamed of a house. In the dream, he explored its every room, warm, bright, familiar, until he found a staircase leading down. The air changed, the walls wept, the light could no longer follow. At the bottom, a door. Behind it, he heard breathing. He never opened it. But the dream returned, again and again, until one night he stepped through. What he found was not a demon, not a monster. It was himself, naked, weeping, radiant with a rage that felt like love. And he understood. The door was never locked. It was him who refused to turn the handle. This is the truth that Jung uncovered. That the journey to wholeness does not begin in the heavens, but in the abyss. You must face what you buried, not to destroy it, but to reclaim it. Because without your shadow, you are half a person, a ghost in a mirror, pretending to be whole. And if you are brave enough to descend, you may find not just darkness, but your power. Many enter the dark, few return changed. Because meeting your shadow is only the first wound. Integrating it, that is the ritual. You see, darkness is not something to escape. It is something to digest, to draw down into the roots of your being and let it bloom there, not as rot, but as fuel. Carl Jung did not want you to kill your shadow. He wanted you to speak with it, to study its symbols, to make art from its chaos. Why? Because only what is owned can be transformed. The shadow doesn't knock loudly, it seeps. Here are its favorite masks. You chase perfection, but feel hollow when you get it. You crave love, but destroy it the moment it gets close. You speak of peace while boiling with quiet resentment. In public, you're in control, but in private you unravel. The shadow loves repression because it feeds it. It wants you to avoid conflict. It thrives when you ignore your truth. And it grows every time you say, "I'm fine," when you're not. There is a place where the shadow speaks most clearly: your dreams. Not the dreams filled with noise and fragments, but the ones that wake you trembling. The ones that don't feel like fiction, but memory. You see, the unconscious is not silent. It is a language of symbols, of beasts, floods, broken staircases, forgotten faces. To meet your shadow, you don't need a temple. You need a notebook beside your bed, and the willingness to remember what you'd rather forget. When you wake, don't analyze, record. Even if it's only an image, a door, a wolf, a child crying in the woods, these are not random, they are invitations. The shadow often enters through recurring dreams, the one where you fall, where you run, where something is chasing you but never catches you. Stop running, turn around, ask it, "What do you want from me?" And listen, not with logic, but with presence, because your psyche remembers everything you've buried, and in dream it returns, not to punish, but to guide. To Jung, shadow work was alchemy, not metaphorical alchemy, but soul transmutation. You take lead, your lies, fears, wounds, and through attention, reflection, and creative fire, you make gold. Gold that shines as truth, gold that burns as freedom. This is not self-improvement, this is self-reclamation. The goal isn't to become better, it's to become complete. Even Christ, Jung reminded us, descended into hell before he rose. And every myth, every hero's journey, includes the underworld. Why should yours be different? Shadow work is not just candles and journals. It's choosing honesty in moments of fear. It's saying no when your body tightens. It's noticing when you project, then pulling the judgment back in. It's asking daily, what part of me is still unseen? And instead of running, you stay, you breathe, you make room for the unacceptable, until it no longer threatens you because it has become you. You were never meant to be all light. That's not wholeness, that's theater. The human soul is lunar, both shadowed and silvered, and to reject one half is to live as half a self. So when the voice returns, when the door appears in your dreams again, don't run, step through, not to fight, but to listen, because in the dark you will find not a monster, but a mirror, and beyond the mirror, your truth. If you walk the path of self-reclamation, subscribe. Share your story in the comments below. Your journey into the dark may help another find their way.